Thank you so much for coming and talking to us today and taking time out for MidlandsMusicScene.com. You're here at the Symphony Hall today for a special event. Could you tell us a little bit more about that?
Yeah, we're here because it's the 50th anniversary of Jamaican Independence, and it's also coordinated with the Jamaican team coming to Britain, because they're going to be looked after here in Birmingham, which is my hometown. You know, so I'm just so proud and pleased to be a part of it. There's going to be a concert for them on the 25th of July. So we're all getting together now, just for a little press conference, making people aware of the fact that it is the 50th anniversary of the Jamaican Independence, and that the team's coming over. So the Jamaican team will be here, and the American team was going to be here too. So I'm looking forward to the concert that we're going to do for them in July.
And who's going to be on the concert?
Oh, there's quite a few. Some of the names I can't. There's going to be an opera lady from, and I honestly can't think of it. I know Jamaican people like that, musical youth, and there's other some other and up and coming bands as well. So it's an opportunity for the new kids that are coming in.
Is that from the Midlands?
Yeah, they're all here from Birmingham.
Excellent.
They're actually from all artists from Birmingham. So it's quite a lively music scene, or lots of musical people from here. Yeah. And the arts as well, dancers and stuff like that. Yeah. So
the Midlands has got a big profile at the moment, hasn't it? Everything's bubbling up at the moment.
My darling, I used to think when I was starting out that everything happens in London and everything, but we've had a wonderful set of musicians and dancers and poets and all sorts of things from here in Birmingham.
Yeah. Well, talking about yourself, because you've got such a long career, 30 years in the music industry, and you started off, you were born in Handsworth.
Yeah, actually, yeah. Where we are in Symphony Hall now, I actually went to school at Ladywood, which is just up the road. I was born in Dudley Road Hospital, so but I was brought up in Handsworth, and so I've always been here. I've never really left, And people say, oh, you've retired. I go shopping and stuff like that. Oh, you've retired, Jack? No, I've just flown back from so and so, and I've just, recently just come back from Dubai, and so, I'm still working. I'm still, like you said, back in the 80s when I first came on the scene, we would say overnight success. Have you just, how did you just happen for you? Yeah. But prior to that, I used to work in an office. And I used to, do gigs of a night time with the bands and stuff like that. So until that point, I'd been gigging for a good 10 years or so. And then so the 80s came up. I had a few hits and everything else, and they've stood the test of time, because I came on the scene thinking I might be only here for 5 minutes, so I'm going to enjoy my 5 minutes. And I was married with a child at the time, and I thought, well, I want them to see and to learn and to grow from it all, but not from a child that's to be affected by it. Yeah. And so she's basically grown up and documented everything, and along with her dad, everything I've done. Yeah. And so and now she's in it, and she's musical too. She writes, and I've got a son as well that writes and sings as well, and so they're all sort of grown up in the arts. But I'm saying you're going to have a proper job first, which is what was said to me when I was growing up.
Because you had quite a sort of, a few things were quite sad when you were growing up.
Yeah. Like I said, I was born and bred here in Birmingham, but my family came over in the early to mid 50s, and tried to give us all a better life and everything. My dad died when I was about 10. I was brought up then by my grandmother in Handsworth. So there's the trials and tribulations along the way.
And it was quite a tough area that you lived
in Birmingham.
And didn't you
When I was growing up, you see, because for some reason, Dad and Mum decided that they go to London for a little while. But I was about 3 to about 5 or something like that, 5, 6 or something like that. But when Dad died, and then my grandmother took over, and we then came back to them. So from that point on, I never really left. So, and then things happened to me for me in the 80s, and I'm thinking that might be just a 5-minute wonder. But 30 years later, I'm still here, and with the songs and everything, and there's a history, and so there's my daughter said, you should do a biography, and people have asked me along the way to do a biography. So there's all that sort of thing to come. So it's warts and all. Yeah. So. And when I look back and I'm talking to Natalie about it, I'm thinking, well, I don't know if has life really been that hard, It's just something you got on with.
Yeah.
you know, you
so
get on with.
Where did you get your strength from? Because you were quite young when you got your success. Because you're releasing a remix of your 80s hit, Set Me Free. It's been remixed by Paul Rudd.
That's right. Yeah. And Paul, I met about 10 years ago, or something like that. I was working on the ships. I would do, you know, the world more or less. You know, do tours up and down the UK and get calls to do stuff in, you know, the territories and countries, as well as do a little stint on a ship, you know, overnight and stuff, and come back. And that's where I met Paul, and he said his all-time favorite, one of his all-time favorites was "Set Me Free." So with that, I said I'd love to do a remix on it, and people have asked me throughout the years to remix certain tracks of mine. But it's taken 10 years on now. It's out now, but you know, when I do anything, and it's across the board for you know, youngsters right through to the, you know, grandparents, and for the people that know me and the kids now, I'm Auntie Jackie to the kids now, and they're going to hear all these remixes of stuff I've done and touch base with the internet and everything else. So I'm getting more and more fans, and it's the youngsters who are tapping into the 80s sound. So I mean, there's so much things, there's so many things happening, you know.
Because you're back in the studio.
Yes. Oh yes, I'm doing an album as well. Yeah.
And have you got a name for the album?
Yeah, it's going to be called For Sentimental Reasons, and it's all, and this is a little more jazzy element to it, and it's all the things that I remember my dad for, and people that I've known, you know, my elders along the way, and the things that I grew up with. Although I was brought up with you know, the reggae sound, because you know, my grandmother in the house, I had two uncles that I used to live with as well. They'd be in and out of our lives and looking after us, and one was into jazz and one was into soul, R&B. So you know, R&B, so Aretha Franklin, Otis Redding, Carla, you know, all those kind of things I'd be listening to, because my younger uncle was the one that was into the soul things. So you got the reggae on one side, you got that, and you got the jazz on the other side, which was deep. So I had all, plus it was chart stuff, so it was all Motown and stuff. And officially I was a Motown artist as well. So it's all the there's a wealth of things that have happened, and you know, maybe it's because I've had good people, maybe it's my temperament, I really don't know. The gift, I know it's definitely the gift I was given, which is the voice. And that people have warmed to it, and people have, throughout the years, have given me so much love, darling. And people say, do you ever get tired of, you know, doing what you do, or singing the old hits and stuff? But I have to say, truthfully, no. Because every time you do it to every audience, I always introduce myself, because I don't take it for granted that people know who I am.
Really connected.
Do you hear what I'm saying? And then people might know the name, think, that sounds familiar. When you start doing the songs and stuff, they go, oh my gosh, I know this song, and I know that song. And their faces are a picture, and they just lift my spirit. So, you know, to have the enthusiasm after all these years still, and I'm still learning, I'm still growing, still doing more and more things, and still getting more and more fans.
So what's been sort of one of the key moments of your career that you can say, that's the thing that I feel the most proud of?
To pinpoint one particular thing, my darling, you know, I've done so many things throughout the years. The fact that, you know, I've been able to travel and take my family as well. So to be able to have the opportunity to go to all these different countries that I never dreamt I'd ever see. You know, I remember the first time I went on an airplane and they put me in business class. And they, you know, and the stewardesses and stuff started coming around, would you like a champagne, or would you like, you know, something to eat? And I'm thinking, oh no, I hope I've got enough money in my purse to pay for this, you know. And I thought, oh yes, please, oh no, thank you. And it's like, so the world opened up for me, and all of a sudden I'm going to Japan, I'm going to Australia, I'm going to Dubai, and you know, and I was like, pinch me somebody.
Wow, this is the
yeah, because I'd never travelled before until that point. Then, you know, and people that I've met along the way and worked with, you know, people like Michael McDonald.
Relationship with Michael McDonald.
Oh, you see, to my kids, he's Uncle Mike, you know, he and his wife, you know, and Auntie Amy. But that was another thing that I never thought. I saw this documentary on Quincy Jones, and Michael was in there, and he had to hit them with Patti LaBelle, and then he was coming over to the UK thinking, I need to go and see a show, and then got this call, but I thought it was that I got a ticket to come here in Birmingham at the Odeon to see him, and it turned out he wanted me to sing with him, and from that point on, you know, I must have acted well.
British artist that you chose?
That too, and I suppose the very first concert I saw as well, here in Birmingham, was the Jackson 5. So I was at school, and we got tickets to come and see. My grandmother got us tickets, and she came too. So so there's little things like that as well. Just recently, last year in October, I was working with Sir Cliff Richards.
The Soulish tour.
Oh, the Soulish tour, because he's a big fan of soul and everything else. So to meet people and work with people like Lamont Dozier, Frida Payne, James Ingram, Marilyn McCoo and Billy Davis Jr., Percy Sledge. These are all people I was listening to as I grew up too. So, and then I get the opportunity to be with these people.
So feeling so blessed, really, to be able to.
I tell you, girlfriend, bless them. If there's a stronger word than blessings, that I have been, and with all the trials and tribulations that's gone on, because this business is up and down as well, but. Something, and I think I need to get back to 9 to 5 to have some security and this and that. But my darling, I tell you, there's no bigger high. There's no bigger high than what I'm doing. And the fact that people, all I have to offer people is my voice. And if you like that, and you're comfortable with that, and you like the songs and stuff like that, that itself is a serious blessing. Yeah.
And this year is going to be particularly exciting for you because you're going to have your star.
Oh yeah! Tell me something. This is me saying
about it.
Oh my God! Well, you see with the whole hush hush and I'm thinking, how did that come about? And Naki told me about that, and Tony did. And it's like, what? I'm having a because, like I said earlier, although I'm born and bred here, I think people sometimes forget because you're out of sight, out of mind, and because I am traveling the world and stuff and doing what I'm doing, that I am a Brummie, and to get called to do certain things. But to get that recognition by having a star here, pinch me. What can I say? Pinch, wake me up. So is it October time? I think something like that.
So around about the time that your autobiography is coming out.
Yeah, and the album and stuff. So I think it's going to all coordinate. Yeah, gosh, I think really
amazing. But only right because of your amazing success and career.
And something that, yes, I know I've had success, but I never look at it like that because as far as I'm concerned, I'm still this new girl that, trying to get on the bottom rung of the ladder. Yeah, and every time I do a show, I don't take it for granted people know me, so I'm introducing myself all the time to people. And if they remember me, then well and good. And if they're new to me and they like what they're seeing and hearing, then that's even better still.
I think that's why, apart from your talent, the fact that you're such a humble person, I think that comes across.
Well, listen,
and why people love you so much.
Listen, I say I'm no different to anybody else, okay? All right, I do what I do and I sing, and that's what you know me for. But at the end of the day, I have to cook, clean, wash and iron like everybody else. Trust me. Yes, So at the end of the day, I can relate to everybody and anybody.
So for new performers coming through, you mentioned about son Ryan, who's starting out in his career as well. What is your advice to new artists coming through? What can they do to actually help themselves, and what can the industry do to help promote and support them?
You got a talent. I think because we're all blessed with something, okay? And if your talent is music, dance, whatever the immediate things you want to do, enhance it, embrace it, learn about your craft. So the longevity will be there. Because if your talent's there, it will always be with you. And there's a lot of luck as well, being in the right places at the right time too. But if you have the basic talent that's there, work on that, enhance that, because that will see you through everything and anything that it's just that it will lift your spirit, it will lift everybody else's spirit.
So get out there, show people what you've got.
Yes, and
at
work
it.
Every
door is an open door.
Yeah, for me, because I was working with the band at the time and all this kind of thing, it was a case of I was on everybody's coattail, so I was going along with it. And as much as I thought, I'd love to do that, I never really had the courage and stuff to do that. So in that respect, I bless the boys, that I was working with in the band and stuff, because they were the ones that were hungry for it. And the fact that, even now, I just love doing what I do. And it's not that I'm hungry for stardom or fame or whatever it is. I just want everybody to enjoy me and enjoy what I do. Yeah. So if you love what you're doing, I think
that'll come across, won't it?
I think that there's so many little things to it, but I think that the essence of it is to enjoy what you're doing. To because I'm still learning about how I do what I do. Trust me, So
advice to the young and upcoming artists, you've got to do your grind.
Yeah.
You'll always learn something every single day.
And enjoy.
Don't expect
and embrace everything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Have you got any unfulfilled ambitions, Jaki?
Whoa.
That was a question that came upon our Twitter for you.
My dad, I don't know. I think I've touched base with everything, to be truthful, and to be able to have the family as well. It's nice you was on stage and you're doing what you're doing and you're getting the adoration and everything else. But I had to be grounded so as soon as I came off stage because the kids were in the dressing room and it's like, come on, we got to leave, So I never got the chance to enjoy it fully. It's only now I look back and everybody's saying, the 80s was the time, and I'm thinking, something, I was a part of that. And it's only now that I can appreciate it. I wish I was appreciated more at the time, but you've been pulled left, right, and centre, and you're on the go all the time, so you never really had the time to absorb it properly.
So
you just
now
want it to flow.
You can actually enjoy this.
And I think I've done basically everything, and more than I ever dreamt I'd ever do. Go places, meet people, see things, and all these kind of things. Countries and cultures and the whole works. So,
if you want to catch you live, what's coming up live?
Here in the Midlands will be the 25th of July for the Jamaican Olympics thing that's going on. So here in Birmingham then, but I'm going to places like Spain, and I'm doing things in Dubai, and I'm doing things across the world. I'm doing lots of stuff up and down the country, but locally I think that's going to be the next thing. So I got concerts, I got all sorts of things that's going on, corporates and festivals and things going on. But you'd have to touch base with the. I just turn up. It's like, oh, what am I doing this day and what am I doing that day? And I can't retain it all.
So people need to check on your website.
Yeah, that'd be good.
And you've got your Twitter as well.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
And as so looking back on your career, the new social networks that are there, how do you feel about the access people have to artists on Twitter? Does it feel comfortable for you? Or?
Well, Twitter is something I'm kind of getting into, I must admit, and that was encouraged to me by Natalie, and it means that you keep abreast of everything. And some of the things I tweet, and it's really trivial and stuff, but I tried not to get into this new genre of the Facebooking and all this kind of thing, because I don't really have the time to maintain it and stuff like that. But there's some people long lost people that we haven't seen for the longest time. People that you want to hook up with and meet and stuff like that. So that's been good for that, and to get the word around as well. So in that respect, but sometimes people can abuse that media of communications and stuff, and that's what I don't like. I hear about the cyberbullying and all that kind of thing. So,
but for young artists, it seems to be
it's a way of getting a way of outlet.
Getting a new network.
Just an outlet.
Getting out there.
Yeah.
So thank you very much for
bless your heart.
taking time
Sorry,
out today.
I know I'm on the run, so I'm always on the run, darling.
And thank you so much for giving us that time today.
Oh, bless you. Well, I hope it helped, and that's what I went through. So this is and it's easy access for, like you said, for exposure and stuff like that. Now, I had to go tread the boards and stuff, and I'm still treading the boards and stuff. But the kids now. It's a different media for them, and I can't always get my head around it, but I wish them all the best.
Well, thank you.
You're welcome, Dan. Thank you.